Well, you know, people have been waiting long enough, Ryan. I might as well just hit the button. They can see us. I've got my laptop off to the side here, so if I'm looking down here, I'm looking at the comments. I'd rebooted, so I've got nothing open except for you in OBS. It's good to see you. I'm back. I'm home.
Yes. It's good to see you, Sean. I missed you. I can't believe I went 2 weeks without hanging out with you. No, but seriously, I missed you, Sean.
You're like,
we had some good guests, but
we had great guests.
We had good guests, but you know, it's good to have Sean back.
It's something to have me back.
Jeez, Sean, you're so down on yourself.
I know. I did a run this morning, so I'm gonna just, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna do some like lunges.
Oh,
here
excellent.
and there.
Yeah,
just throughout the show, just like got to stretch out the hip flexors.
Just why not? Just casual things. I mean, the fun fact is, you know, before we even started, you know, doing video, you know, Sean would just do that all the time. People just wouldn't even notice.
That's true.
Just always there.
That's true, especially in the truck. You're joking, but I would do that. I would park at McDonald's after getting my order, and I'd kind of like sit on my leg like a child.
Good Lord.
I
mean, that's almost as awesome as the time, all the week and a half where people kept throwing shoes at you every time you drove. We've had worse, Sean. Those were the good old days.
Oh, Ryan Turford.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
So here, man. Because, lots to talk about today.
For sure. We're not even talking about Splatoon either. We're talking about Xbox stuff, which is awesome.
Splatoon is climbing up that open critic. I was worried for a second there, Ryan. I am not going to lie. Because when it showed up as a 79 on open critic, I believed it.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, like, I thought, okay, like, after hearing you guys talk about it during the review, I'm like, okay, there's probably, like, this kind of fits what you guys were talking about a little bit. And maybe, you know, some reviewers took it in more of that direction.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. You know, because especially like it sounds like there's just not a ton of content there at launch, and I think a lot of people just did not like that.
Still Splatoon. It's still like Splatoon. That's the thing, and I think that's the thing that's saving is Splatoon is still a great game. Like there's no denying Splatoon is a great game, but yeah, we will see. I wonder how the fans will react. We'll see. Did you guys know that there's an Apple event going on? Yeah, so nobody's coming.
Oh yeah, I know about it because I can hear it in the other room.
Oh, nice. Yes, the watch finally lasts more than a day, so that's good.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't buy any Apple products because they're too expensive for me. So
they're very expensive. Yeah. This watch needs to last me another 15 years. So, because you don't put it on like a plan. Like phones are just phones. Like you put it on the plan and whatever.
That's true. That's still probably the same, you know, Apple Watch as, you know, the first Apple Watch you had when I first joined the show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I remember you referencing your Apple Watch all the time, or I'd hear it sometimes during the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that used to be a thing.
Indeed. Is Sean getting Splatoon 3 now? I guess.
Yeah. I was teetering on the edge. I was like, maybe I get this game. But my TV stopped working, Sean. So now I have to spend the money that I would have normally spent on Splatoon on a new TV. So.
Okay, well, let's do this. Hey everyone, it's me, Sean Capri. I'm glad you're here because you're listening to the most damn it. You know what? It's just as well because I got distracted because my Audacity isn't open.
We were just talking about Splatoon. Of course you got distracted.
No, my Audacity wasn't running, and I was thinking in my head he's going to have to take the audio from the YouTube. So
thank God.
Elgato keeps turning up my microphone. So Elgato, my God, I hate Elgato software so much. But the hardware is very nice. This microphone sounds lovely. Let's try this again. You guys ready? Chat, you ready? I want to see some readies in the chat. You guys ready? Hey everyone, it's me, Sean Capri. I'm glad you're here because you're listening to the most horsepowerful podcast on the internet. It's the Xbox Drive. I'm on a Skype call with my friend Ryan Turford. He's the weatherman on the moose, and on our journey today, the good news is we've got that controller coming, and the bad news is the Halo, but the good news is I'm back, baby, so let's jump on into the Xbox Drive. Bomb!
No power greater than X.
Ryan Turford, there is no power greater than X. How are you doing, my friend?
I mean, you know, I'm looking outside the window, Sean.
Damn it.
The weather has gotten a little bit cooler. You know, we're in September now. It's nice, you know, crisp 23 degrees.
You didn't pull this crap on court and TPR, you know? You do it to upset me. I know
Well,
that
it's
you do.
because when they were on the show, I had to ask them how they were doing to start the show because I was in your seat, Sean. Whereas, now that you're back, of course, the weather report needs to continue. But, I'm doing okay, Sean. I'm doing okay. But thank you for asking. I'm feeling better.
Yeah.
Although I will say, pointing out the fact that there's changes in the weather, I have like really bad allergies when the weather changes.
Yeah.
And boy, howdy, I can tell that the weather is different because my allergies are going crazy right now.
See, this I can live with. If the weather has a direct impact on you, like, oh, it's, blizzarding outside and man, my commute's going to be like, it's been really dangerous. That I can live with. But this whole, you look out the window and tell me like the barometer readings. Like, I don't need to know
No.
that.
I look at the barometer readings on my dashboard on my computer because the weather report's there as well. But also, I have to pay attention to it more, Sean, because yesterday was my first day back at the office.
Oh yeah,
my actual work. So I had to go back yesterday. So I actually have to pay attention to the weather now because I actually have to leave my room 3 times a week to actually go to work. Weird. I don't know.
It's good for you, Ryan. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
No, actually, when I went out yesterday, I actually thought it was like good to get out of the house a little bit.
Okay.
Again, yesterday was the first time I'd been to work in 2.5 years. So it was just weird going back there. But it was good to be back in the building again, doing some TV stuff.
That's good.
But more importantly, Sean, now that you're back from vacation,
yes.
How was vacation? We need to know.
Vacation was fine. I didn't vacation very well. I'm not going to lie. I didn't do a very good job of it, I don't think. I didn't plan well ahead.
It was a surprise vacation. It's not like you got a chance to plan it or anything.
No, and I felt it a lot, actually. So I feel like by the end, I'm like, oh, this is nice. I got to the point where I just wanted to live there, But I didn't leave. I didn't take care of a lot of things before leaving, so I feel like I left everything in disarray. And you guys were scrambling to fix my mistakes. So I appreciate TPR. Appreciate who was the other guy who was on the show?
Oh, Court Lalonde.
I'm just kidding.
That guy.
I'm
the
sorry,
person who keeps screaming in chat that there's breaking news about Xbox.
I
apparently.
see. I want links. I want sources. I see what you guys are talking about in chat, but like we gotta verify. We're not just gonna.
I'm actually looking at it right now. We'll
is this real?
This is real. About it comes from an interview with Jim Ryan.
Jim Ryan, the gamer
about Xbox. Yes,
the video gamer, Jim Ryan. Holy crap! Okay, stop the presses. Ryan, I've got a car. Speaking of the Xbox Drive, I got a car.
Oh, that's right. You talked about the idea of getting a second car.
I got one. Yeah, nice. I was I got a 2011 Scion TC, man. It's my almost midlife crisis car, and I like it a lot. It's a 5. Actually, it's a 6-speed. It's a manual 6-speed. It's not as fast as it wants to be, but it feels real good to drive. I got my own car, so it's got a big crack across the windshield. It was not a lot of money, but it came with a set of winter tires, which is very important here in Canada, Ryan.
Of course, especially you're about to hit winter pretty soon where you're at.
So. Oh, any day now, dude. Any day now. Yes, you're right about that. Okay, so is this news for real? I was giving you a second.
Well, it's news for real, but we'll get into it in the news section of the show.
Okay.
It's not breaking enough where we need to talk about it right now.
I agree. Nobody cares about Call of Duty, apparently.
But also, Sean, now that bought a new car, I have to mention because I teased this during our pre-show, and then as soon as I started talking about this, you quickly stopped me.
Yes,
and said we have to talk about this during the show. But last year around this time, I actually bought a new TV, a fancy LG TV. And I noticed when I was doing the Saints Row review a couple weeks ago, that there were some like purple lines appearing on the screen. And I thought nothing of it. I thought maybe that's just the game or something like that. But then it started happening more and more and more over the coming the week and a half or 2 weeks after that. And I was like, oh, maybe it's the TV itself. So the TV itself has like a screen self-diagnostic tool that you can go in and look at a text picture outside of all your games and outside of your other devices to see if it's the TV itself or if it's maybe the HDMI cable is a little bit whack. And it turns out it's the TV itself, and it's becoming more and more purple as the days go on. We're now I turn on my TV and like half the screen's purple.
What?
So, yeah, so I'm just out of warranty by about 2 months.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me! And no extended warranty. Where did you buy this from? Did you buy it from Costco?
I bought it from Best Buy, and I didn't get the extended warranty because I've always, because here's the thing, Sean, I've always bought extended warranties in the past.
Of course you do.
and never used them because there's never been a problem in the extended warranty period. So this time was the first time I didn't buy the extended warranty, and now it'll be $900 to fix it. So...
Oh, you're just buying a new TV then?
I'm just buying a new TV at this point. So I've been looking at new TVs all morning. So it kind of like takes a little bit of a bite out of my game budget for the month at this point, because I was maybe looking at.
Do you need to buy it immediately? Like, do you need to? Because like sales are coming, man. Like it's September, Black Friday is around the corner. Like, do you have to buy something? I just mentioned
half my TV usually when I turn it on is purple.
But like that's your only display. Like, what about your monitor? Like, what do you have another?
I have a 17-inch monitor. Besides that, so in theory, I could use that between now and then, but that's really small.
Oh man, dude, I would actually lend you it. Like I have a screen, I would lend it to you.
Right. So yeah, and that's why it's one of those things where it's like it just means that I don't buy all the games this month. So instead of spending some money on Splatoon, which I was actually thinking about doing this month, I maybe just buy a TV.
How do I get this? I have a 32-inch screen. It's a great screen. I need to get this? We need to figure this out. We can get it to you.
It might just honestly between the amount of shipping it costs, Sean. It might just be cheaper for me to buy my. God. But at that point, Sean, it might just be cheaper to buy my own monitor and then live with that until TVs are cheaper.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to dissuade. Like, if you were excited about getting anything, I just wanted to, I get excited about Black Friday and they're great deals. Yeah. But what are you looking at? What size? Court Lalonde asked what size. What are you thinking?
I have a very small bedroom, so where I watch TV, so I'm no more than 50 inches. But but again, I could always swap it out for a monitor and just, play video games in my office rather than in my bedroom. Mm-hmm. And then maybe put a TV that's not as good in there to watch movies and stuff like that.
Are there still Labor Day sales going on? Like, did they extend? There was a Best Buy Labor Day sale.
The Best Buy one's still on until the end of the week. So
there you go. Okay. Treat yourself.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's it just means I have less money to spend on games this month versus usual time. But anyways, Sean, we've done 10 minutes, 15 minutes in the show.
I'm back, man.
We should probably talk about Xbox. But before we talk about Xbox, we got to clean the garage a little bit. So folks at home, if you want to support the show, there's a number of awesome ways to do that. Number one, if you're watching the live stream right now on youtube.com/carpoolgaming, or if you're watching the video on demand later, please like the video, subscribe to our channel. Let us know in the comments below what you think about Halo or Jim Ryan or the Xbox Elite Series 2. And then ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we go live or we have new videos on the channel. Also, if you're listening on audio feeds, don't forget to subscribe to us right there as well. Or rate us if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, if you want this show a little bit early or some exclusive content like the newest episode of Sweet Hangs, head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/carpoolgaming. Throw a little tip in the old tip jar and out comes content. And then last but not least, if you want a Carpool Gaming shirt, like the one I'm wearing, or another Carpool Gaming branded t-shirt, head on over to our merch store, bit.ly/CPG merch. Also, Sean, I think you were probably looking up, our newest patrons. Is that correct? Because I forgot to write them down.
I didn't know. It's my fault. It's my job. It's my fault. It's not. Don't let Ryan do that. Ryan Craig and Sean Hennigan at the exclusive tier. You guys are the best. Enjoy all that crazy. Dude, it's an amazing amount of content on that feed. And even at the $1 level, I don't often, plug the Patreon overly. I don't think. Even just for $1, you get all the shows on one feed. $3 gets you the exclusive stuff, but you don't want to. Ryan, if only there was a better way. You don't want to have to subscribe to the Nintendo Drive. And there is for $1 a month. Patreon.com/carpoolgaming. It's all on one feed. $3, you get all that exclusive stuff. Pants Patreon podcast for Patrons Podcast. It's an exclusive bonus podcast for supporting Carpool Gaming. Episode 150. I'm recording it later on this afternoon. Episode 150, Ryan Turford.
I can't believe the Pants Patreon podcast has been around for that means it's been around for 3 years.
3 years. Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Crazy to think about. But
it's a lot of me yammering on about God knows what, about kangaroos or men in suits. Which one is it? We don't know.
But the people love it, Sean. It's one of our one of the shows I hear the most positive comments about.
People love it. Yep.
People love that show.
There you go.
Well, let's grab our 8-tracks, Sean. Pop them in. It is time for the playlist because we got to talk about some games. Now, I know you were on vacation, Sean, but did you get a chance to play some stuff this week?
I mean, I play games. Come on, man. Of course. A little bit. I'll touch on some of them because I played a sampling. And then I kind of dove into one of them that I'll talk about. I want to let you know, Ryan, that I cleaned the crap out of an entire skate park. I picked up my power washer and I scrubbed away, man. The most tedious experience. I was one of my good friends, Jace plays games, Backeridge on Twitch, twitch.tv/Backeridge. He was playing Power Washer Simulator, and I was watching him, and I'm like, man, this is taking you forever. If only there was a way for multiplayer. Wouldn't it be great if I could, go help him out, maybe scrub this a little faster? And there was a way for multiplayer. It was actually very easy. So I fired it up, Ryan, I had 49-inch ultra wide powered by my 3080 graphics card playing power. This is what I bought it for. This is what I upgraded my PC setup for, is to play this game that honestly didn't run all that well. On those settings.
It sounds very poorly optimized, Sean.
Yeah, it wasn't the best. But you know what? It was sweet hangs with Jace. But man, that took us like an hour and a half to just like wash away this mud and the graffiti and everything else. But I played the game, man, that everybody's talking about.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been asking about Power Wash Simulator, and they knew Sean being the simulator person of the two of us, you'd probably, break at some point if people kept asking us about it. So.
Let's put a qualifier on that. That means that I play the first level of the simulator games, and then I move on. I have mowed one lawn.
Wasn't me.
I have cleaned one skate park, and it is this weird thing. You know what? Because it's very tedious. It's very slow. You're probably going to be listening to a podcast while you play it, something like that. Like, it's definitely a step away from what you typically do. And it's laborious. Kind of, maybe if you're not hanging with good friends, it might be boring. Maybe that's what you're looking for. But it all comes together, Ryan. When you finish up, it gives you like a time lapse of you. It shows your character like washing everything up, and it's like that's very satisfying to see. So I played that game.
So before we go any further, Sean, we have a question from the carpool that I was going to save for later, but you might talk about this game next, so I'm going to just bring up the question now. This comes to us from Kevin Ainsworth, aka the Muffin Mon, who asks, "Hi, Sean and Ryan. Just wondering if either of you have had a chance to play Immortality after all of the praise and the crazy high reviews." Now, Sean, spoiler alert, I haven't played Immortality at all, but I saw you have it written down. So I figured, this is the perfect way to segue into that question.
I did play the game. I don't get it.
Yeah, I kind of figured this might not be a Sean Capri game.
I don't understand. I feel like I'm doing something wrong, but I will give a huge shout out to Ed Placencia from Married to the Games, who did a wonderful walkthrough of like what exactly this game is and his experience of it. And he mentioned something like, there does seem to be a moment where like everything stitches together. So for people who don't know, Immortality is a full motion video type of game, very similar to Her Story, or I think Telling Lies. Ryan was the other one. Maybe was it made by the same people?
Yeah, it was made by the same people. All three of those games.
Fascinating. So very, very intriguing kind of game, but it really just throws you in. You're watching a bunch of video clips that center around this actress that something happens to her, I assume, and you're able to click on various visual elements within the scene, like the person or a book or maybe a cross or something like that that's in there that actually launches you to a totally another clip altogether. So you're kind of seeing things happening to her or scenes within the movie that she's acting out in, or three of the movies actually that she's acting in, and I don't know where it's going. So it's different in that I don't know another game that's quite like that. I think Her Story, you used like words to kind of start to venture off into
you used
others.
Like a search engine. Like as you watch the video, you'd hear certain terms that would come up, and then you would probably write them down on a piece of paper or on your phone.
Yeah.
And then you would search them in using like the search engine in the game itself to look for specific clips tied to specific keywords.
Did you ever play that one? Did you ever do that one? Yeah.
I played it. I wasn't because I know like Her Story was also like a Game of the Year nominee in the same way that this might be, and I personally just didn't really enjoy it. If I'm being honest, like I thought the FMV content was fine, but I just didn't really like the whole aspect of searching for stuff. I just didn't really care about it.
This might be a little easier for sure. Like it definitely takes away like it's because that game sounds more like a text RPG kind of thing, like move up, instead of actually moving up. So I guess where I'm intrigued on what's happening here. The three different movies are interesting, and there's a whole there is a jump that happens at one point. I'm like, okay, what's with that? So it has my interest. I'm hearing all these other reviews, but I have to admit I'm not far enough into it to know if I'm making progress, number one, which I'm not sure if that's the point. And number two, I haven't had that like aha moment just yet. So maybe I need to spend a little bit more time in it. And maybe if anybody wants to nudge me to go like, you're not really like, you just keep clicking on stuff. Cause it seems kind of random at this point.
Yeah. The advice that I can't remember who said this. I think it was Steve who mentioned this on Twitter, but I could be wrong about this. Someone had asked, how the best way to approach it. Then they said, to actually watch all the movies in their entirety first,
right,
and then start clicking on stuff.
Yes.
Because maybe you go back, like maybe even like if you want to jot some stuff down, while you're watching it, they said that's kind of the best approach, rather than just clicking through it randomly as you're watching it.
It was, I think, Stevie V who said that, Ryan. I think you're right as well. When you click on a clip and it takes you to another one, it takes you to where that item is kind of prominent. So I didn't realize that I was missing out on parts of the clip. So I guess I would tack onto that advice is once you jump to the next clip, rewind to the beginning. Like there's a button that kind of goes like jumps you back. So that's the other thing. Yep. So I'll keep playing it. Like it seems like people really like it. I just don't know like if I was missing something as far as like how do I know where I am at? Like am I supposed to do something or is it more just I'm realizing a story in my mind? But it doesn't seem like, I don't know, it's not like there's levels or anything. It's not like there's a boss. It's a very different game, which is why it intrigues me because this isn't something I typically play, and I'm always open to a new experience like this. So, Game Pass.
Well, yeah, and that's the perfect thing about Game Pass with games like this is they're there for you to try, and if you're not into them, you're not into them. But if it hooks you, then that's the perfect way to get you into a game like this that you might not have tried otherwise. And that's why like this is just lower on my priority list to get to, just because I know how I felt about their previous two games. So
yeah,
I know this might not get its hooks into me. So I'm like I'm prioritizing all the stuff I'm kind of reviewing right now first, and then we'll get to that at some point because it is September. There's a lot of games coming out. But,
okay.
I do want to play it for Game of the Year considerations before the end of the year though. So I do want to make sure I play it at least before November, December time.
Between that and it apparently it's not very long. That's why I'm playing.
Fair enough. Well, what else are you playing, Sean? Because I see two other games here.
Destiny 2, I jumped into just for a little bit, and I think that do you want to discuss Destiny? I played just a little bit. There's a new story thing that showed up for me, so I played that.
So I honestly haven't played a ton of Destiny 2, but I needed to play. I just needed like a quick palate cleanser from playing the other games that I reviewed this week. Because first of all, I reviewed the Cowabunga collection. That review's up now. I spent a lot of the week playing the games in that. I beat almost every game in the collection too. Again, I mean, I've beaten them previously, but playing all 13 games again and then beating them again in the span of a week is interesting. But then I also finished Soul Hackers 2, and that was most of my week. And the review for that I'm recording literally as soon as we're done recording this podcast, and that should be up tomorrow. Because I delayed that review a little bit because it was supposed to come out earlier this week, but we got that Splatoon opportunity. So, I wanted to make sure we got that out on time. But then, I needed a palate cleanser from those games, Sean, because I spent so much time playing them. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to load up Destiny 2. I keep hearing Sean Capri talk about it. I keep hearing, Jeff Grubb and Mike Madani talking about it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to jump into Destiny 2. And I played a whole bunch of Crucible.
Yeah.
Which is the PvP
Did you
mode
really?
for Destiny. Yeah. Because I actually, when playing Destiny before, that was my favorite part of Destiny always was the Crucible, the PvP stuff.
Oh, wow.
Because I like the idea that it kind of feels like Halo, but with, superpowers. And, you know me from, a long time ago, because I used to be obsessed with games like Overwatch and stuff like that. So I love like that, shooter formula where, it's a normal first-person shooter, but you have, powers of some kind. So,
Ryan.
I had a great time just playing as my hunter in Destiny 2, in the Crucible, getting some new loot and stuff. I mostly just have fresh characters because, again, I haven't played Destiny 2 in almost a year at this point.
Yeah.
But I spent like 10 to 15 hours just playing Crucible matches, like Control, Free-for-All, and just having a blast with it.
I don't think I put 10 or 15 hours in all the gaming, in all the things that I'm talking about. in the last
But
week.
that was the game I played the least this week, Sean.
Holy crap, I want your life. That sounds amazing. Ryan, what I was getting a little giddy off to the side over here because like you mentioned Halo, which we will get into a little bit more later on, but we used to play Halo every single Saturday. We called it Halo Saturdays, Destiny 2 Saturdays, Ryan.
Yeah.
Could be a thing.
All three of us that we could jump into a party together.
Me, you, and Jace,
actually,
is that
no,
what you
I think
mean?
we can do 6, right?
We could do a bunch. Yeah, man. I mean, really, Splatoon is coming out, so don't panic, everybody. I will be buying Splatoon. I'm very excited about it, but I'm more excited to play Splatoon with people. But it's just gonna. Nice. I'm gonna talk to.
Also, I love how Kevin points out in the chat, like even though I spent so much time with games, like he beat. Oh,
he's crushing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of a maniac at this.
He's a robot. But he doesn't sleep.
That's true.
He just plugs into a USB charger.
Exactly. Well, I think, Sean,
I need to tell you about one. The one game I actually need to tell you about is Rick Henderson, Ryan.
I have literally no idea what this is, by the way. So
it's an ID at Xbox game. We got a code, like we do many indie games. This, and I don't often take these, Ryan. We're actually giving away, aren't we giving away a code for Immortality today? Speaking of Immortality, I think there's a way for people to win. We'll get details on it in a second.
Twitter. You can just go on the Twitter. We have a tweet about it.
Look at that.
Court's going to be drawing the winner that way.
Carpool Gaming on Twitter. You can win yourself a copy of Immortality to keep, even if it leaves Game Pass. You can have the game. That's the key with these. Anyways, Rick Henderson is very quickly. I just want to tell you about this game. It's a side-scrolling shoot 'em up, like a shmup, bullet hell, with great arcade elements and 16-bit graphics and a cool soundtrack with some roguelike elements. And I got all the achievements I'm going to get on that thing. And I think I'm good. I spent a couple hours with it, but it's very fun. I think it just deserved a little shout out here, Ryan Turford. Rick Henderson is a video game that people should play if you like some of those old arcade games. It's a Sean Capri-ass video game, my friend.
Nice. It sounds like fun. I mean, hopefully, because I don't think it's on Game Pass, right? I think it's just adding an Xbox game.
Should be on Game Pass. It would be, people would really... There's a lot of great stuff on Game Pass this week.
And we're gonna talk about it.
I think we will.
Game Pass drop, I think, in a little bit. But let's slam the brakes on this conversation, Sean. It is time for some breaking news. Now, again, I know there's a breaking news story. We're going to get to it in a little bit because I want to talk about some of this more.
Nuts, you know what?
Because Jim Ryan can wait, Sean.
I agree. Yeah.
Especially because topic number one is something we've been asking for, nay, begging for years, and it's finally happened. Xbox has officially announced the Xbox Elite Wireless Controller Series 2 core model. This version will contain all the components that the current Elite Series 2 controller contains, but it will not have any of the add-on components, including the paddles, replacement thumbsticks, and D-pads. So it'll basically be the core controller itself with the rechargeable battery and the USB controller charger on it. The core controller is now up for pre-order for $130 and will also be coming to Xbox Design Labs this fall, Sean. Yes, we're getting Elite on Design Labs. The day has finally arrived. People have been asking for this to come to Design Labs forever. Sean's been predicting.
That's actually what I'm searching off to the side here. You can see me looking over here.
I could tell you were looking.
I was looking for when did I? It must have been last year, 2021. I think.
You predicted it last year, Sean. I remember this.
Yes. What I said, actually, so here it is. In 2021, I predicted for our E3 predictions last year, I said Design Labs is back. You can add paddles out now, which is actually amazing because the core, which we'll get to, this Elite core, doesn't come with the paddles. You can buy them separately, or you can just use the ones from your currently owned core. So that prediction is actually great.
And I forgot to mention it. The you can buy the add-on pack separately now, and I think it's $60.
Right. So. That's what I'm saying. That's what my prediction was. Ryan, that's what I just said.
I know.
You can add paddles. That's what you're like, well.
No. You can't add paddles in Design Lab itself. You have to buy the pack separately.
That's what I said.
I know.
Play the tape back. Oh my goodness. Give me my coffee.
Ryan's not doing that, by the way. But anyways, I think this is amazing news. I mean, I've never owned an Elite controller before, and a lot of it was just the sticker shock of the price, especially when you do the conversion to Canadian dollars. It was just outside of my price range, the price range that I would personally feel comfortable buying a controller at. Mm-hmm. But now that we've got the core controller, which again brings all the stuff that I wanted, because I personally just don't feel that I would ever use the paddles in a meaningful way, and I don't need the replaceable thumbsticks. So I'm totally cool with just getting, this core version at the cheaper price. Like, I'm all about this. I'm actually pretty excited about this, and I think I'm going to do it, especially like to get it on Design Labs too and kind of customize my own controller. Like, I'm actually pretty stoked for this.
Dude, well, I have a couple things I need to say first, because I am excited. But the thing I need to say first is they have got to get the manufacturing sorted out on this controller. I'm middle at first on this, because I was kind of hoping for a Series 3, like some sort of like next iteration or next model of this, next version, only because like my Series 2 didn't last. Like it was maybe a year in, and then like my A button was a little wonky and my right bumper was a little bit weird. But I am a huge fan of the paddles, the fact that you can charge, and the battery on that thing is a beast. Like, and I think it feels great. That like brand new, it's one of the best controllers you can possibly buy. But to all your points, the price was a little bit scary for many people. I think I got it for like a birthday present, or I don't know, some sort of like joint thing. But yeah, I'm happy about it, but I need to know that it's being built a little bit better than the previous version, if that makes sense. Maybe I'll start there. Yeah,
because I know that, the Series 2 specifically had a bunch of design problems with it. So, yeah. I'm hoping so. So maybe the idea of them not having to include all that extra stuff maybe allows them to, change the design around a little bit with it, and maybe that will result in it being better produced or better.
Yeah, I want to go hands-on with this Design Labs thing too. I didn't really look too closely, but I saw like it seems like the core part of it you can change the color. The handles are still like the black rubber grips. That seems like an easy add-on for them to take on maybe next year or something like that. You can go even with more options. Like we've seen that before as well. But I don't know, like, can you change like the button faces or anything like that? Or is it just,
we don't know, just because it's not up until, it won't be up on Design Labs until later this year.
Holiday. So. Yeah. So I'm excited to check that out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very cool, man. Like you said at the start, people have been asking for this for a long time. And also I wanted to comment on, Sony just announced their Pro whatever controller thing, the DualSense, what do they call it? Edge?
I think it's the DualSense Edge.
Edge, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, we're an Xbox show. What do you want from me?
It's another E word.
Yeah. I am very curious with that, because I think this was timed because of that. They've had this ready, and they come out with the core as a price-friendly option for people. Maybe there's a narrative developing here, Ryan, where you can get a Series S for whatever it is it $200 US, $199, $299?
I think it's
$299.
Yeah, because the PlayStation 5 digital is $399. I know it's $100 less than that.
I think this controller is along those lines as well. You can get a core for $150 instead of this controller from PlayStation that's going to cost $7,000. Unconfirmed. I'm just thinking it's going to be very expensive.
It's probably going to be like $200 to $250.
It's going to pair up with what Xbox did last time, like with the normal Elite. I think that's exactly what, like, Sony's like, well, the established price point for a premium controller is this. We'll go match that. And then Xbox comes in and goes, no, we got a second SKU again. Good for Xbox. Good for you. Good for you.
They're doing the lore.
Ryan wants Court back so bad.
Yeah, that's true. I Court come back, but no, we actually, if Court was here, we'd probably talk about the PlayStation controller more. So actually, this is probably okay. But anyways, we got to move on and talk about, we just had a really good story, Sean, a feel good story, and now we got to talk about some sad stuff here. So 343 have announced an update to their upcoming Halo Infinite roadmap. On November 8th, the winter update will arrive, bringing the Forge beta, campaign co-op, and mission replay, as well as 2 new maps created using Forge itself, Detachment and Argyle. Additionally, Season 3 of Halo Infinite will finally come on March 7th and will be called Echoes Within, and will have a new arena and big team battle map. However, 343 have announced as part of this that they have canceled the planned campaign co-op mode for the game, so it will no longer be coming. And this move distressed Sean Capri so much that he moved away from his microphone and
sitting in my
his
corner,
chair,
Ryan,
just staring with the death stare This is not the news that we were hoping for with 343 with Halo. I mean, again, like the campaign co-op was supposed to be out this month, Sean. Like it was supposed to be out by now. Like we should have been playing it at the end of August, but it got delayed to November 8th. And then again, the couch co-op, I know that for me, it's not a big deal because I don't have anyone else really to play with on the couch. But for a lot of people, this is just like it kind of makes me sad because of the history of Halo being such a hit couch co-op game. So it is a little bit sad that we're not getting that. But Sean, I need to hear from you on this. What do you think?
It's too much. It's too much to bear, Ryan. All of it. There is not an ounce of good news in everything that you just said. Not even a syllable. March is far too late for like that's the next milestone for like something for anybody to look forward to is March.
Well, I mean that season 2 lasted for about a year.
Not
like
acceptable.
Lasted for a year instead of 3 months, which was originally planned.
Man, this is how like you're gonna get everything from me on this show, Ryan. When things are good, I'm gonna celebrate them. There's nothing here. There's absolutely nothing. I'll balance my negativity because I've been salty on the Nintendo Drive lately a little bit as well. I've had a great time with Halo Infinite. I think the campaign was super fun. It was one of my favorite games of the year. I feel a little embarrassed to say that it was my game of the year last year. It probably should have been Forza at this stage, but, revisionist history. I've had a great time with Halo. Glad it exists. But holy crap, dude. Like, this is unbelievable. I feel bad for everybody who's working their tail off on the game. I can't imagine the toxicity that's being just sprayed at them right now, and obviously I don't support any of that. I hope what I have to say is not that. I want to make sure, I hope everybody's happy and healthy and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
With all of this said, Ryan, it's Halo. This is not even just for Xbox, it's in the top tier, top echelon of important video games, of all video games. And I just don't understand what's happening, and I'm saddened by it. You're right. I actually have 2 TVs so that I don't play split screen. But they made such a big deal about bringing this back, this feature that is the hallmark of the series. It's got to be there. They said it's coming back, and now it's not. And to me, maybe I'm just dramatic about the whole thing. It's more than just the split screen not being there. It's like it just seems to be like a symptom of everything else that's wrong that's going on with this thing. And I don't understand what the heck is going on. I'm a little saddened by it. Maybe I'll just leave it at that for now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this just hurts, especially because we know just the player counts for Halo are kind of dwindling at this point. And this is just not what we needed to hear at this point. Like, especially knowing that it's still going to be 2 more months from now before anything else comes to the game. And then even then it's like, well, how much of a change is really the Forge beta really going to do to bring people back? Like is the prospect of being able to play, the Aztec from GoldenEye really good enough to bring people back to this game, Sean?
Maybe it might. Maybe that is an ounce. I'll walk that back a little bit. Maybe Forge is maybe a beacon. I don't know, but it every milestone, it just seems like is being missed. Every single target they put out there. And I was saying this to Donnie on Sweet Hangs, like the language that they're using after putting something out there, it's so cyberpunk, man. Like, I don't even even as I say the word, ugh.
Well, that's why, I actually would have rathered, I think, at this point, that they just not said anything about any of this stuff until it was ready to come out. Like, they should have, said, hey, by the way, co-op is coming and Forge is coming, but we'll tell you right before when before they come out that they're coming out. But because they especially just throwing that August date on co-op, online co-op, and still saying, couch co-op is coming at that point just really hurt them in a way.
Big time. Broken promises, dude. It's just not, it's not good. And it's hard to believe. They have such a tall hill to climb at this point to bring anybody back. I can't, what do you, as commenters, as podcasters, what are we supposed to say at this point? Everything's fine. A lot
of people are calling for, 343's head at this point, or
I'm not there.
I saw that a lot of
I don't like
thumbnails
that.
This week.
Of course.
We're not the people that are going to say that, Sean.
No.
In fact, if anything, I don't even know how much of this is really 343's fault at this point, as far as the messaging is concerned. How in control are they as a studio when it comes to the messaging on a lot of this stuff? So
I'm somewhere in between where you are and the calling for heads. I don't let them off the hook completely. I feel like they are
No, this isn't me letting him off the hook. It's more just like I feel there's more to this, and you know, and I don't know if we can really fit all that into like a short conversation on this podcast. But I do think that there needs to at least be some kind of changes in the way this stuff is messaged in the future. I think that's the bottom line here. More than anything.
You think they're basically being like told, come up with a plan and communicate this? Like, we don't care what it is, but like you better have something to say.
Maybe their choice would be
maybe
they feel pressured into having to give, you know, exact updates on some of this stuff, and then even if they have to break them later, kind of thing. Like,
but pressure from who? Like, if they're feeling it from the fan base and like they're still in control.
I think it's a balance between that and even maybe, you know, Microsoft as a whole.
That's what I'm getting at. Like, I think if it's the fan base, then you just live with the pressure. But if it's like the people, you know, keeping the lights on, it's completely different.
Especially because you have to your point, Sean, it's Halo. So of course, you know, there's more to it than there's more pressure probably coming at them than just, you know, the fan base coming at them. So like I said, we'll see about that. Like, I don't know how excited this gets me to play Halo again at this point, especially like this fall, even because like, you know, with 2 new maps, it's fine, but I don't know if that's enough to bring back Halo Saturdays at this point, Sean. But we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, the campaign is so good. It's so much fun. The multiplayer is so much fun. Like that's why that's the balance part about this. Halo Infinite is good, but man, this is not. And
good. The crazy part is too, Sean. You know, speaking of the campaign, you know, we know there's supposed to be more campaign coming. We still haven't even heard anything about that either. So it's just like
they have to finish the core game first.
No, exactly. So like I'm starting to think that maybe like we don't see that until like 2024 probably at this point. Like
yeah.
But anyways, we got to move on because I think we have a better story because the following games are coming to Xbox Game Pass. So our first September drop of Game Pass titles, we got Disney Dreamlight Valley Founders Edition, which is going to be a free-to-play game when it exits early access, but it's in early access right now, so it's a paid game, which is why it's in Game Pass.
Interesting. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's made by Gameloft, you know, the mobile game manufacturer.
I knew there was a catch with this game. There it is. Okay.
Yeah, made by Gameloft, and it is going to be a free to play game. But you know, the Founders Pack is included in Game Pass.
Classic. Yeah. Okay.
But then we got Opus Magnum on PC out today, and then Train Sim World 3 for Sean Capri out today. And then on September 13th, we are getting Ashes of the Singularity Escalation on PC, as well as DC League of Super Pets, The Adventures of Crypto and Ace, which I know Court LeLong played, and he did not have good things to say about that one, out on September 13th as well. And then on September 14th, another game for Sean Capri, You Suck at Parking.
Yes! This is my game of the year already. I'm declaring it right now, dude. You Suck at Parking. I've never even heard of this game until...
Whoa. The blasphemy! You're getting rid of Triangle Strategy as the game of the year. Number one Triangle Strategy fan for You Suck at Parking.
Also, number one fan for You Suck at Parking. I can be that as well.
You can be both.
I'm just here for great titles of games, basically, Ryan. Like if that isn't obvious, dude. That's not, I haven't even seen a screenshot. I don't know what you do in this game, but I'm here for it. I have no idea.
Parking, that's all we know.
Yeah.
And then on September 15th, you know, we've got Despot's Game and then Metal Hellsinger on September 15th. We had that demo. People liked it, and now
I liked it.
Coming out in next week, I think. So the hype is there. So again, that's the first 2 weeks of September covered for Game Pass games. Overall, I think it's an okay lineup. It's just a lot of stuff I've never heard of before, so it's hard for me to get super excited about it. But I do think I'll try some of these out. I have, you know, Disney's Dreamlight Valley installed on my console, so maybe I try it at some point. And then Metal Hellsinger, I'm excited to play the full game at some point.
Dude, I'm back on Game Pass. I've been a little hard on Game Pass lately. You know, I'm a little bipolar in this entire episode, probably. But like, there's a ton of great stuff coming to Game Pass, and I'm trying this stuff. I am your commercial gamer when it comes to Game Pass. I'm like, I'll try a little bite of this. I'll try this, and I'm doing the whole cross-play thing. I'm playing on my PC, and my save transfer over to my Xbox. Like best value in gaming. I'm here for it, man. I like it a lot. There's that, yeah. Oh, Cult of the Lamb. I still have to finish Cult of the Lamb. Oh my gosh.
At some point, Sean. But you know, speaking of how good Game Pass is, Sean, we got to talk about all the games leaving Game Pass on September 15th. So next week,
it's not a good
these
list.
Games are leaving, and it's a big list.
Yeah.
So A Plague Tale Innocence, right in time for, of course, Requiem to come out next month. Origami 2, Bug Fables: The Everlasting Sapling, Craftopia, Final Fantasy 13, Flynn, Son of Crimson, I Am Fish, Lost Words Beyond the Page, Mighty Goose, Skatebird, and The Artful Escape. So all those games leaving Game Pass. Again, it's not like
it's not that terrible
list of heavy hitters, but the two that I would say, number one, Plague Tale: Innocence. Make sure to either play it now or buy it now while it's on sale before the sequel comes out, because you'll probably want to play it before Requiem comes to Game Pass next month. And then Final Fantasy 13. I've been screaming from the rooftops ever since the Series X came out. I think it's actually one of the best backwards compatible 360 games.
Nice.
As far as games that got glow-ups on Series X and 1X. And it's absolutely a game worth playing. And I think it's like $7 with the Game Pass discount. So I think people out there should grab it if you don't have Final Fantasy 13 already. And again, it's a much better game than I think people give it credit for back in the day that it came out. So there you go. Those are all the games leaving Game Pass. But now, Sean, I'm going to replace our last, Assassin's Creed story, because I think we'll talk about that more next week after the Ubisoft Forward event happens. Because we got to talk about this thing that Court Lalonde, if we didn't talk about this, Court Lalonde would probably, send us angry comments, Sean. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about this GameIndustry.biz article. It was an interview with Jim Ryan over at PlayStation, and we learned something interesting about Call of Duty's exclusivity on Xbox. We heard Phil Spencer talk about the idea that, after the Activision Blizzard deal, that, Call of Duty would continue to stay, on all platforms for the foreseeable future, or for many years, I think is his wording. But according to Jim Ryan in an interview, he states that he was informed that Call of Duty would only be staying on PlayStation for 3 more years beyond the current agreement that they have now. That's not to say, they couldn't, renegotiate the terms at that point. Because, Phil stated in the past before, when asked about this, he's like, yeah, I mean, we can, promise to keep it, multi-platform, for the foreseeable future. But at some point, what if something changes in the marketplace that forces us to make it go exclusive?
Yeah.
Right?
So all Jim Ryan is saying is what the current agreement is. Like, I feel like that's it.
He says that, but also goes on to say that the deal is an insult to PlayStation, and that, they needed that Xbox needs to start considering the needs of PlayStation players more and stuff like that as well.
Okay, this is turning into a little. Okay, I'm glad that we got this here and that you were able to somehow podcast and read the article and get all up to speed, because this literally broke as we were going live here. That I think there's might be a little much to do about nothing. To be honest with you,
so
this reads as Jim Ryan is just saying this is what it is right now, and there was something. Oh, it sounds whiny.
Jim Ryan just trying to position this deal in a way where it's bad for competition in line with what the UK was saying.
Well, I was and that's the thing that surprised me, that there was any news about this at all, because like the deal hasn't been done yet. So for there to be any sort of like, this isn't like a newly established agreement that Phil promised 3 years. It's like, this is just what is on the table right now. And Phil may, or whoever, Team Xbox might decide that it could go beyond that, or that is it. Like this actually isn't news. It's not new information. It's just newly, I guess, uncovered, I guess.
Exactly. So, and it's interesting too that, because we had heard that they talked about the idea that it would stay multi-platform for several years, but now we actually have like a quantifier to that. So
right, which alludes
that's
to
really the only piece of new information.
Yeah, and Phil has said, to your point, like there will be there's previously existing agreements, and this has got to be one of those things.
Yeah,
maybe.
And actually, the way it kind of reads, it almost sounds like it's 3 years past whenever the agreement for the current agreement for the marketing rights for Call of Duty last year.
Exactly, it has nothing to do with the acquisition.
Another 5 years at this point, right?
Exactly, because they don't sign year over year over year. They probably did a 10-year thing or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting too.
It has nothing to do with the acquisition. It's just, this is how much time is remaining. Holy crap! I'm glad we left it till now. This is not. Yeah.
Now you understand why I left it till the end.
You're smart. No, you're definitely smart.
Yeah, and also I'm glad we're talking about this now, because next week, we've got a lot of showcases this weekend. We got the Ubisoft showcase, we got the Marvel showcase. We have TGS next week, so I think we're going to have a lot of news to talk about on next week's show, Sean, which should be fun. Lots of game announcements to look forward to. But let's let some of our friends into the car with us. It is time for the carpool. So first up, we're going to start with the Blaze Knight on the Discordia, who asks, what is your favorite genre of game? Follow-up question, what are some of your favorite games in that genre? What are some games in that genre that are not for you? Now, Sean, this may surprise you, but my favorite genre of games are RPGs. I know. Shocking. I can't believe it either. But it's almost like I do a whole show about RPGs. Mm-hmm. I love them so much. But for the sake of, not being boring, and because I, talk about RPGs on an entirely different show at this point, if you want to hear my thoughts about RPGs, go listen to the RPG Cave where I talk about RPGs all the time. I'm going to say that my second favorite genre of games is survival horror games. I actually really like, horror as a genre in media, whether it's movies or TV shows or video games. And I love survival horror games. So some of my favorite games in survival horror, Resident Evil 2, one of my favorite games of all time. Silent Hill 2, also one of my favorite survival horror games of all time. Parasite Eve, even though it's an RPG, it is also a survival horror game as well. And those are kind of some of my favorites. And then as far as games that I really just couldn't get into in survival horror, honestly, there aren't too many that I haven't really been able to get into. So I don't really have a good answer for this one. So I'm going to transition to you, Sean. What about you? What's your favorite genre of games?
I think my most played genre probably is first person shooter. I feel like that's just such a lame answer. Right. But if I go through, it's the one that I don't seem to get enough of. I feel like I've got a kart racer. I feel like I've got a real-time strategy game, which would probably be my backup answer. I just don't play them. Currently I don't play a lot of real-time strategy games, but I love Warcraft 2, StarCraft 2, that kind of stuff. I just adore, I really, I wish I was better at it, if I'm being honest there. But I play all the Call of Duties, I play the Halos, I play everything else there. So maybe I'll stick with that. And some of my favorites include, again, this is old, man. On PC, I played the original Unreal back in whatever that was, 1998, I think. Half-Life was on there as well. Star Siege Tribes, which was a multiplayer bit over there. And yeah, those are definitely my favorites. I have a soft spot in my heart for, I'll give a shout out to Call of Duty, a couple of Call of Duties, Modern Warfare, the original, but then also World at War was really good as well. I really enjoyed, that would have been Call of Duty 5, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like it's kind of boring. This is why I really enjoy playing a game like Immortality or getting into some of these JRPGs and stuff. Cause I feel like I was destined to just end up playing the same game over and over and over again. And I enjoy the new stuff.
Well, you and I both are kind of jack of all trades in a lot of ways.
I think so.
We kind of play everything.
We really do. Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least we try a lot of stuff out anyways.
Side answer is the Uncharted genre of game. Tomb Raider and things like that.
Last of Us.
Yeah.
Else. Mm-hmm. Well, then now we got Taylor, aka TPR, who asks, question for Sean, did you miss any Xbox game or feature of your Series X over your vacation? Maybe missing the feeling of disappointment with Halo.
Damn. I don't think I did, actually. I tried to, I was just checking in on my apps, checking my likes, but I will say I enjoyed my time away because it gave me an opportunity to really dive into Xenoblade. I talked about that on the Nintendo Drive, but I probably put in, and this is a big deal for me, Ryan, you're going to scoff at this, but I probably put in 10 hours of Xenoblade, which I thought was pretty good. I know that's an afternoon for you. I know. But no, not really. No, but I'm glad to be back. And now there's a bunch of great Game Pass games. I'm stoked I feel like it was perfectly timed. That was the only thing that went that well.
That's true. Cause imagine if you were doing that in the middle of October or November, you would have just been real sad.
Yeah.
Because you were missing a lot of games. But
yeah, man.
Anyways, I think that's going to do it for this week's show. But before we go, Sean, plugs go.
Gonna throw a curveball at you, Ryan Turford. Speaking of November, Extra Life is happening. Join, I think, Ryan Turford as well. Ryan Turford's gonna be there. Yes, Rome, New York. We want you guys there. Message us. DM, Twitter, Sean Capri, Sean like Connor, Capri like the pants. Message us in the Discord. We have a whole channel dedicated to Extra Life. The fundraising begins. We're in September. This thing is happening. Rome, New York, November 5, November 6. It's technically 26, 5 hours after a time change. I am very excited about that. You guys can stay tuned to this show for prizes. We're gonna make it amazing. But if you want to play games in person with us and raise money for the kids, then join the Extra Life team, Phoenix Overdrive. Message us if you have any questions. That's it for me, Ryan Turford.
I can't believe that's 2 months away at this point, Sean. Less than 2 months.
Less than 2 months. Yep. Get ready.
Crazy to think about. As for me, you can find me on Twitter at Ryan Turford. I'm actually tweeting again, so there will actually be things to see over there. Go over to my Twitter there. You also go over to our Twitter at Carpool Gaming. Again, we're giving away, game codes from time to time over there. So it's a, good idea to go follow us on Twitter. You can also find us on YouTube, youtube.com/Carpool Gaming, and on podcast services around the globe. So for Sean Capri, I'm Ryan Turford. This has been episode 256 of the Xbox Drive, and we out.
I can't believe how good a job TPR and Cork did while I was away. I'm really appreciative that you guys took my spot while I was here. It was a good, fun time for me to listen as a fan, and I just really appreciate every single one of you. I, in my mind, was going to make this really salty, but I instead turned it around to make it appreciative, and Ryan hates that I'm back, and I love you all. Okay, bye. What I hate that button first.
Greater than X.